6.1. At a restaurant. 1. Things on the table. 11.
Bowl.
2.
Candle.
5.
Corkscrew.
19.
Cup.
14.
Fork.
6.
Glass.
18.
Jug.
12.
Knife.
16.
Mug.
13.
Napkin.
3.
Oil and vinegar.
10.
Plate.
7.
Salt and pepper.
21.
Saucer.
4.
Serving dish.
9.
Spoon.
8.
Tablecloth.
15.
Teapot.
20.
Teaspoon.
17.
Tray.
1.
Wine glass.
6.2. 2. Things people do in restaurants. Waiters. 4.
Lay the table.
1.
Take an order.
5.
Recommend a dish.
6.
Carry a tray.
2.
Serve customers.
3.
Pour the wine.
Customers. 9.
Book a table.
8.
Order food.
7.
Try the wine.
11.
Send something back.
12.
Ask for the bill.
10.
Leave a tip.
6.3.
Fish and chips.
Oil and vinegar.
Salt and pepper.
Cup and saucer.
Knife and fork.
6.4. 1.
Bacon and eggs.
2.
Bread and butter.
3.
Strawberries and cream.
4.
Ice and lemon.
5.
Tea and biscuits.
6.
Milk and sugar.
6.5. 1.
We ordered some grilled sardines to share, and after a few minutes the waiter came with a big plate of fried sardines and put them down on our table.
2.
We ordered very simple things like lasagna, which is easy to just heat up.
3.
And there was a vegan and a celiac. You know, someone who can't eat wheat. There was even a woman who said she didn't like onions. There was also a little boy, and I got the kitchen to make a plain omelette for him.
6.6. 1.
I remember we once went to a restaurant in Portugal. Beautiful location, upstairs overlooking the River Douro. We ordered some grilled sardines to share, and after a few minutes the waiter came with a big plate of fried sardines and put them down on our table. And we thought, well, we'd ordered grilled sardines, but hey, they're really busy and these look really nice. So we each took a fried sardine and ate it, at which point the waiter came back and said, "These aren't yours," and took them away, and in a few minutes came back with a plate of grilled sardines. So this was all fine, and we had a nice meal, but when we got the bill, we saw that we'd been charged for both the fried sardines and the grilled sardines. So we complained to the waiter and then to the manager and said, this was your mistake. But the manager said, basically, you ate them, so you have to pay for them. And we had quite a long argument. Eventually, when we said that we wanted to make a formal, written complaint, very reluctantly, he agreed to take them off the bill. We didn't leave a tip.
2.
We went to lunch one Sunday in a place, a Parisian brasserie called De la Ville. It's a beautiful place. It's from about 1900 with wonderful old furniture, mirrors and all that, really nice. We ordered very simple things like lasagna, which is easy to just heat up. But we waited and it didn't come. The place was crowded, but not completely full, and there were quite a few waiters. But when we realized that we had been waiting for 2 hours, we went to speak to them and we asked them, "What about our food? Have you forgotten us?" And instead of apologizing, they were really aggressive with us. So we became more and more angry with them. And finally, we got our dishes and ate them and left. We should have left earlier, but we kept thinking that the food would come, and also it was too late to find somewhere else. But it was a terrible experience because it was a very famous place, with a good reputation where all the famous people go. But that's the type of service they offer. First, I thought maybe they were treating us like that because we're not famous, but in fact, I heard lots of other people complaining.
3.
I had a table recently at the restaurant I'm working at in London, and I went to all sorts of trouble with them. It was a group of 6, and there was a vegan and a celiac, someone who can't eat wheat. And anyway, I went through the menu with them and explained what they could have. There was even a woman who said she didn't like onions, so I had to check all the dishes to make sure they didn't have any. There was also a little boy, and I got the kitchen to make a plain omelette for him. Anyway, one of them, an elderly woman, asked for the bill, and she paid in cash. And when I came back with the change, she said, "Don't worry about that. You've been great. Keep it." It was 16p. I mean, I know service was included, but in that case, much better not to tip at all. I left the 16p on the table.
6.7. 1.
I have to work every evening.
Do we have to leave a tip? They had to wait for 2 hours at the airport.
2.
You must be more careful.
Must I show ID at the door?
You must pay him back as soon as possible.
3.
I need to buy some food for tonight.
Do we need to book a table?
6.8. 1.
You don't have to pay me now.
2.
We won't need to take the car. It's walking distance from here.
3.
You needn't hurry. We have plenty of time.
6.9.
You mustn't be rude to customers.
You mustn't serve alcohol to people under 18.
6.10. 1.
You should try that new Vietnamese restaurant.
He shouldn't drink so much coffee.
2.
You ought to get a new phone.
She oughtn't to spend so much on clothes.
3.
When you're in Venice, you must have a drink at Harry's bar. When you're in Venice, you have to have a drink at Harry's bar.
6.11. 1.
And how much should you tip?
A normal gratuity is around 15 to 20% of the check, but it can be as much as 25% for amazing service or in very expensive restaurants. It sounds a lot, but servers work really hard, and I think generally they deserve it.
2.
And what should you do in bars?
Well, take lots of dollar bills with you because the normal gratuity in bars is $1 a drink.
6.12.
In many countries, tipping is an optional extra, but in the USA, it's a serious business. There are no actual laws on tipping, but the unwritten rule is that you should always leave a tip in a restaurant unless you want to deal with some very unhappy waiters. But how much is reasonable, and who exactly do you have to tip? Sally from the US is here to help us. Hello, Sally.
Hi.
So, first of all, why is it so important to leave a tip?
I absolutely get that in countries where servers are paid well, you shouldn't have to tip at all, unless you want to because the service was great. But in the U.S., many servers earn just $2 to $3 per hour for their services because it's assumed that the tips will make it up to the minimum wage, which varies between the different states, but is generally around $8 per hour. Now, I know you may think this is wrong, and many Americans, myself included, would agree, but that is the situation right now until the law changes.
And how much should you tip?
A normal gratuity is around 15 to 20% of the check, but it can be as much as 25% for amazing service or in very expensive restaurants. It sounds a lot, but servers work really hard, and I think generally they deserve it.
OK, so it doesn't happen often, but what about if the service is bad? Do you still have to tip?
I'd say you do, but if it really was bad, maybe just 10%, that will give the message. And if you feel you don't want to leave even that, then you should probably call the manager and complain and explain why you're not leaving a tip.
Do you need to tip even if the restaurant has already added a service charge to your bill?
Oh, there's no automatic service charge added in the U.S., but some restaurants will add a gratuity to your check if you're in a big group of 8 people or more, if it's a public holiday, or sometimes if you're in a busy tourist area. You don't have to leave any more money if the check already includes the service charge.
Do you have to tip for fast food or takeaway coffee?
No. If you buy food or drinks over the counter, people don't usually leave any gratuity. But there's always a tip jar close by if you'd really like to.
And what should you do in bars?
Well, take lots of dollar bills with you because the normal gratuity in bars is $1 a drink. Order and pay for your drink at the bar and leave the dollar bill on the bar. Don't worry about putting it in the bartender's hand.
6.13. 1.
You can use a toothbrush to clean jewellery.
I can't understand these instructions.
We can't park here. It's a no parking zone.
She could swim when she was 3 years old.
They couldn't come to the concert last night.
2.
Can you give me a hand?
Could I borrow your car?
3.
I've been able to drive since I was 17.
The technician will be able to fix it.
I'd love to be able to ski.
I like being able to try clothes on, so I never buy things online.
4.
Unfortunately, we're not able to supply the missing parts.
I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to attend the interview on Friday.
5.
I couldn't find the book I wanted in the shops, but I was able to buy it online. The mark on the carpet was really bad, but in the end I was able to get it out.
6.14.
It can't be broken. I only bought it last week.
They can't be back yet. They said they were coming home on Sunday.
6.15.
Excuse me.
Yes, can I help you?
Yes, please. I'm looking for some... sorry, I don't know the word. They're the things that you put into wood. I want to make some shelves.
You mean screws?
Ah, yes, that's it. And I need one more thing. My lamp doesn't work. I need a new...
Light bulb?
Yes, thank you.
You'll find them both over there, behind the gardening things.
6.16. DIY and repairs. 1. In a shed. Tools and other things for repairs. 15.
Brick.
11.
Bucket.
9.
Drill.
5.
Hammer.
2.
Ladder.
14.
Nail.
10.
Padlock.
6.
Paintbrush.
12.
Piece of wood.
8.
Rope.
7.
Screwdriver.
13.
Screw.
4.
Spanner.
3.
Tap.
1.
Tile.
16.
Wire.
6.17. 2. In a drawer. Useful things around the house. 2.
Box of matches.
7.
Drawing pin.
8.
Fuse.
6.
Glue.
11.
Handle.
4.
Light bulb.
5.
Needle and thread.
9.
Penknife.
10.
Sellotape.
1.
String.
12.
Tape measure.
3.
Torch.
6.18. 3. Verb phrases. 1. See.
Change a light bulb or a wheel.
2. G.
Drill a hole in a wall or in a piece of wood.
3. H.
Mend something that's broken.
4. I.
Put together flat pack furniture.
5. F.
Put up shelves or curtains.
6. E.
Set up a new Wi-Fi network or a home cinema system.
7. B.
Sew a button on a shirt.
8. A.
Stick something together with glue or sellotape.
9. D.
Tie two things together. For example, your shoelaces or two pieces of string.
6.19. 1.
Screw. Screwdriver. Scream. Screen. String. Stress. Stream. Straight.
2,
Paintbrush. Toothbrush. Electrician. Handle.
3,
Needles. Shelves. Lamps. Bulbs.
6.20. 1,
I love IKEA, especially the bookshelves. We have several, and I'm usually pretty good at putting their stuff together, but I have had a few problems over the years. I remember I once had some trouble with a wardrobe. After hours and hours, and a lot of swearing, I finally managed to put it together. But I'd assembled it in my study next to the bedroom, which was where the wardrobe was going, because I had more space there. And when my husband and I tried to move it into the bedroom, we couldn't get it to fit through the door. So I had to take it to pieces, move all the bits into the bedroom, and start all over again. I suppose it was my fault, though, not IKEA's. And the wardrobe looked very nice and has lasted for ages.
2,
About 3 years ago, my girlfriend and I went to IKEA to buy a kitchen. The units were cheap and cheerful, but they also looked quite well designed, and we were very excited by how good it was all going to look. The guy in the store said they were easy to put up, that it wouldn't take long, etc., etc., and I'm quite handy, quite practical, so I thought, no problem, though I admit my girlfriend was a bit sceptical. Anyway, when we got home, I thought I'd assemble one cupboard just to see how easy it was going to be. It was a nightmare. The instructions were incomprehensible. It took me the whole afternoon just to do this one cupboard, and when it was finished, I realised I'd put the door handle on the wrong way round. In the end, we had to pay someone to come and do it all for us. But at least they looked good.
3,
I have lots of things from IKEA. It's great for students because, generally speaking, it's pretty cheap. Anyway, I bought a table there with my boyfriend not long ago. We started putting the table together, and at one point we had 3 legs screwed in. Then we reached for the screws to attach the 4th leg and realised there were no more screws. We had to take off the other 3 legs, take 1 screw off every one of them and reassemble the table. So now at least it has 4 legs, but it's rather wobbly, and I'm not very happy with it. It does annoy me when they don't give you the right number of nails or screws or whatever, and it's not the first time it's happened to me. Now I always check before I bring stuff home.
6.21. 1,
After hours and hours, and a lot of swearing, I finally managed to put it together.
2,
So I had to take it to pieces, move all the bits into the bedroom.
3,
I'm quite handy, quite practical, so I thought, no problem.
4,
I realised I'd put the door handle on the wrong way round.
5,
So now at least it has 4 legs, but it's rather wobbly.
6.22. 1,
How much TV do you watch?
I watch a fair amount of television, maybe at least 1, maybe 2, 3 hours a day.
Do you think you watch too much TV?
Maybe, since I fall asleep in front of it.
What kind of shows do you watch most?
Some news, some entertainment, late night talk shows, and then some French TV or some drama.
2,
Do you live in a city or in the country?
I live in Brooklyn, New York, so I live in a different borough.
Would you like to move to the country?
I lived in a place that was more country than here, and while I found it really peaceful, I didn't find it that stimulating, so I definitely would prefer to live in a city. At least right now. You know, I'm 25. I kind of want lots of things going on. You know.
3.
What is more important to you when you eat out, the food or the service?
The food is much more important when I go out to eat. If the service is bad, I can forgive that.
Is there anything that waiters do that really annoys you?
Mostly just when when you can't get their attention and when they ask you how things are when you've just taken a big bite of food.
4.
Do you usually tip in restaurants and taxis?
Yes, I usually tip in restaurants and taxis.
How much?
I usually just do the standard, like the 20%. Yeah.
Are there any situations where you feel embarrassed to tip?
Sometimes I'm embarrassed to tip at hair salons or if I'm getting my nails done, which I almost never do, just because I'm not sure how much.
5.
Are you good at DIY?
Yes, I'm really good, and I love renovating and refurbishing and doing everything myself, and I mean really by myself, because I don't invite friends or anyone. I just do it alone, and I love it.
What was the last thing you did?
The last thing was my bedroom. I renovated my bedroom. It was waiting for 3 years to be renovated. Yes, that's the last thing I did.